Today I'm going to show you a makeup application that I know for myself makes me look 10 years younger. And when you see the before and afters, I think you're going to agree with me. Now, some of you might say, you know what, I want to do Botox, I want to do, the facial injections, all that sort of thing. And hey, you do you, and that's certainly up to you. But for me, I don't like needles, and I'd rather use a little bit of makeup, and I just can't wait to show you my process, how I do it. Let's take a look, but first I have to take off all my makeup. All right, let's get into this tutorial because by the end of this video, I'm going to look a lot more, a lot better than this, number one. But I'm going to have more, I'll probably take about 10 years. You tell me in the comments if I took 10 years off, because I think I do. Anyway, let's start with what I've already got on my face, and that is the Anti-Wrinkle Cream. This is a primer by Strivectin. And what it does, it works like a primer like when you're painting your house, and it fills in a lot of the mini, wrinkles and that sort of thing that I have. And that way I have a smoother finish to apply the foundation. All right, and as I'm going through this makeup, hey, you could say, I don't really want to wear foundation, or I don't like that color of lipstick. Hey, it's your choice, but I'm going to show you what I do, and you can take it from there. All right, so let's start with concealer, because most of us need concealer underneath our eyes and also on these dark spots. See these dark spots here? So I am using the Hydro Boost Concealer. I love it because it has a moisturizer in the middle. Why do I love it? Because it has a moisturizer in the middle. It doesn't go on cakey. It doesn't go on thick. A lot of times if you put on too much concealer, the wrinkles just show up more, so we don't want that. So let me just apply this here. All right, very, very lightly. And also all these dark spots that I have here. And I do use the vitamin C cream, but they still show up. So I have got a patch here, and I'm just gonna make sure that I go over that patch, a little bit here, a little bit here. Got some freckles still on my nose and some crevices here. And that's about all I'm going to do right now. But you see, even as a lighter concealer, how it's sort of covered up there. However, I'm not finished with the concealer yet. I want to use Bye Bye Under Eye, and this looks like it's light fair, the color that I'm using. And I'm going to just put it on a brush like this. Okay. Now, what I have with my eyes is I've got a line under here. I don't know if you can see that. So I'm just going to put a little bit under here. And kind of change that up a bit. And I don't know if you can see that the lines here are still very apparent, but they're lighter here. All right, now I've still got some of this on my brush here, and so what I'm going to do is, there's a little freckle there. Any marks that I have on my face, anyway, I'm going to just, I'm not doing that side. Okay, here we go. I'm just gonna sort of go around a little bit more. Now, marionette lines, right? We want to look a little bit younger, so I don't want the marionette lines showing so much, so I'm going to put them a little bit of this. This is heavy duty concealer, but I'm going to put a little bit here, maybe a little bit up there. And where else am I going to, if you have deep set 11s up here, you could put it in there if you want. All right, so let's move on here. We're going to let this sort of sink into my skin a little bit, and let's start on our eyes right now. And of course, for the sake of time, I'm only doing half of my face, and I'll show you the befores and the afters near the end of the video. For right now, I'm using Naked 2. This is a beautiful eyeshadow palette, and I love it so much. It's by Urban Decay, because it's a natural look. What we want to do is we don't want to look like we did, you know, back in the day with so much makeup on. And I'm going to show you that less is more, and that when you put on just a little bit of eye makeup, it just looks so great. I'm not even going to be putting on, you know, the thick eyeliner or anything like that. That actually ages you. All right, so here I have a beautiful, you can tell I love this palette so much. I have a beautiful highlighter here, and what I'm going to do is I'm putting it here on my eye lid and up here. Okay, and that's just going to give me a really nice glow. Now, the next one that I want to do is, if I can find the brush for it, I'm going to do a, oh, here's the brush over here. I'm going to do this lighter brown, and it doesn't matter if you have blue eyes, brown eyes, this is a great palette for a natural look. And I know some of you might be just getting back into makeup, or you want to put on makeup, so these are great products to start with. All right. All I'm going to do with this is just go up here. Do you see I'm kind of highlighting things up there? That's all I'm going to do with that. Okay, and now with a brush, a curved brush like this, and I'll show some brush sets and all the cosmetics I'm using underneath the video description and also in the comments for you, so you can find them quite easily. All right, I'm going to be using this color here. Hopefully you can see that. And I'm going right into my crease now with the angled brush, right into, see how that looks? Right, and I'm going to push it out because as we age, a lot of times we get the hooded eyes, so I want to lift them up a little bit. So there you go there. Also, I do want to use this black here, just a little bit, just a little dab will do you. Maybe you'll remember in the comments what that came from. And I'll put that in there here and bring it up a little bit. Do you see what I'm doing with the push up there a little bit? Now that I've got this, it's very, very important that I blend. Using a brush like this, blend. Blend, blend, blend. You want this to look natural. You can bring it in here a little bit. You do not want it to look fake. And especially this, this push-up, which makes our droopy eyes and hooded eyes just look a little bit, a little brighter and a little bit uplifted. It's like a mini eye lift. Now, I personally don't like to wear false eyelashes, so I'm going to show you how I put on 3 coats of mascara, and it almost looks like I am wearing false eyelashes. This is CoverGirl Exhibitionist. It's called Stretch and Strengthen, and my color is brown black. All right, so I'm just going to put 1 coat on now. You'll see throughout the tutorial that I'm going to be putting on other coats later on, and at this point I am not going to be putting it underneath my eyes, but already can you see how the one eye is really lifted and the other one looks a little bit hooded and a little saggy? And we're not even finished yet, so let's move on to the foundation. Now we want a little bit of a glow with our foundation, so I'm using the NARS. It's called Light Reflecting Foundation. Yay! And my color is DeVille. All I'm going to do is put a couple of squirts on here, and then I'm going to use one of these sponge pads like this. I'm going to do only half of my face, so it'll be a little bit difficult, but hey, for you again, let's do it. All right. I love just the way that these pads just blend so nicely. I do not go over top of the concealer. Don't do that, because if you do that, it's going to make it look cakey again, right? But see how all those age spots are really getting a good coverage with this? Put this down here. Across my nose, down my 11s. Into those marionette lines, because remember how we put on concealer, so we want to go over that so it just doesn't look like, you know, a white line there, but hey, that's all we need to do for that. Now again, we have to let things dry a little bit. Let's do some eyebrows, and for this I've got the NYX or NYX Fill and Fluff, And all I have to do is brush up your eyebrows. And then I happen to be not too bad at this. On this end is my color, and I'm going a little bit darker than I usually do. I'm an ash brown now that I'm using on this. So let's go ahead. I like to start here. And what I do, you see how I've just outlined the eyebrows? The eyebrows are, you know, they are what frame your eyes. But we're not going to leave them looking like that, right, Heather? Right. Okay, so the fill and fluff, I'm going to fluff them up now. Make them look a lot more natural. Even just come out a little bit here. There we go. And now you can see that once I've got my blush and everything, it won't be so stark, but I am now framing my eyes. And hey, if you like makeup, beauty, fashion videos made by a woman who certainly isn't in her 20s anymore, I would love for you to subscribe to this channel. There's a button down there somewhere, and don't forget to click on the notification bell. There it is. Anyway, let's move on to the next step of my makeup. Okay, so I need a little bit of powder under here because it's a bit greasy with the concealer. So I'm using By Pores by It Cosmetics. This is a translucent powder, so it's not going to go on really cakey. There you go. And just gonna lightly dab it on there. All right. And why am I doing that? Well, because I want to put some blush on now, and I don't want it sort of sticking and caking, so that's what we're going to do. This is by NARS. Oh my gosh, it's such a beautiful blush. It's a pink blush. Again, I'll have the links for it underneath the video description. So I am going to put a little bit here. And I'm going to bring it up so that it kind of matches a little bit. See what I'm doing there? Now, I don't want to look like a reverse raccoon and have white underneath my eyes, so I'm just going to do a little touch under here, and that's why I put the powder on. All right, the other thing that I want to do is I want to give some definition to my face. It really will make me look youthful, and I'm using Bronze Goddess. This is by Estee Lauder. Beautiful, beautiful contouring product. And I'll just use that here. I'm using a brush like this, and I'm just going to slightly, ever so slightly, go down to give some definition to my cheekbones. And under here, these are our jowls. And people won't even notice, but what you're going to do is you're going to bring them in a little bit so they don't look so jowly. Anyway, all right. And what do they call it? The pièce de résistance. You really want to have a glow. You want to take years off. This is my secret weapon. This is by e.l.f. I think it's called Moonlight Pearls. I always wondered how the celebrities, the older celebrities, had that glow. This is probably what they're using. I'm using a brush like this. And watch the difference. I just go like this. I go a little bit up here. So it's almost like a C. Some people put it on their nose, but I don't like a shiny nose. And there, you see that little glow on that I've got happening? And when I smile and everything, it's so nice. And I just love it. All right, so let's get on to the next step. I still got to work on these eyes. Time for another coat of mascara. So I'm just going to put that on now. Lightly. Okay, we don't want it going blobby. We don't want all our eyelashes to clunk together. So you see, that's what I want to have here. Also, now that I put the powder underneath, it won't sort of transfer as much. This mascara actually is fantastic. It's such an inexpensive mascara. And oops, I made a little thing there. It's such a great mascara. It doesn't transfer for me, and I can wash it off like a dream at night. So Just beautiful, beautiful mascara there. All right, so I still have a little bit more work to do on my eyes, and I am going to use a Great Lash Clear Mascara. What are you using that for? I want to brush up my eyebrows. I want this powder and my eyebrows to stay in place, and by highlighting them with a clear mascara, this is Great Lash Mascara, I can do that. Time for some lipstick. I love the NYX Lingerie XXL lipstick. Now this is a matte lipstick, but I'm going to put a gloss over top because I just hate my lips feeling really, really dry. You probably do too. I'm not going to do half a lip. It's going to look ridiculous. So I'm just going to do my entire lip. What I like about this brush, it's very unusual, and you can actually outline your lip. And then I just fill it in. There. And by the way, you know, when I put on my makeup, it's like 5 minutes. You can do it, once you get the hang of it, you can do it real quick. And the way that I'm showing you, you know, do a little bit of mascara here, a little bit of this here and that, it really, really helps to have things set properly. So, now, I want this to dry a little bit, and so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my final coat of mascara on. I don't need a lot on the bottom lids or the bottom lashes, but I'm just going to put a little bit more on. And this is my third coat. Again, I don't like them clumping together too much. I want to look like I have natural eyelashes, and I think I've accomplished that. Again, let's just take a quick look at these eyes. Do you see the difference between the two? This one is like sad. That's my natural eye. This one is uplifted. This one looks brighter. Yay! All right, now this is dried up a little bit, and so what I'm going to use is one of the NYX Butter Glosses, and that's what it looks like, because I want a little bit of a shine, right? There you go, just a little bit. There we go. And the thing that I love about this lipstick is it stays on for hours. So that's a really, you know, have a drink of water, have a cup of coffee, it'll really stay on. So that's what I love about it. But for right now, I think I'm pretty well done. Let's take a look at a before, oops, and an after, and I'm just going to show you a couple of photos also so you can really see the difference. Now obviously you can see my eyes, you know, they look larger, they look more youthful, they're framed by the eyebrows, but the other thing to notice is the discoloration on the before picture. I've got age spots. I'm darker in some parts of my face and lighter in others, and that glowing foundation really, really helped. Also look underneath my eyes. You can see the lines. You can see kind of bags under my eyes. It's just amazing how much younger you can look with a little bit of makeup. Now, by the power of video, I'm going to magically finish the other side of my face, and I'm going to have an inspirational message for you. So what do you think? I think I do look many, many years younger, and also I think I still look natural. You know, I kind of been thinking about a lot of the ways that even the younger women look these days with the false eyelashes and, you know, lip injections and just so much makeup, big eyebrows. And I'm thinking to myself, you know what? I don't want to look fake. I want to look natural, but I just kind of enhance things a little bit with mascara and blush and of course that magical glow that I put on there. And I think that that's really all you need. And if you were watching this video and you said to yourself, well, even that's a little bit too much makeup, you know, pull back a little bit on the mascara, just use a little bit of eyeshadow. You do you, but I think it's so important. And the other thing that I think is important is that if you haven't used makeup for a long time, put on, as my grandmother said, put on a little lipstick, put on a little blush, put on a little mascara. And I think, you know, these days as we age, a lot of times we feel, I don't know, we start to feel a little invisible. We start to feel like, you know, we've lost our looks. But I want you to leave the house and I want you to say, oh, I look pretty good today. And for me, that's just another way to be loving our age.